Hi guys, welcome to another Inkscape tutorial. In this lesson we'll be looking at the freehand drawing tool. Draw freehand lines. You can see the shortcut in the bracket P. So what this tool does is that instead of the Bezier tool that helps you create shapes by simply joining together the nodes you created by clicking, what the freehand tool does is that it helps you freely draw shapes or lines. So you can just freely move your hand around to create a shape, and it will connect all the nodes together and create the shape. So if you haven't seen my video on Bezier, I would advise you check that video before coming here so you understand more on the Bezier and nodes tool as we progress. So once you use your freehand tool to create a object or a part, you click on your nodes tool. You can see the different nodes that it has kind of creates. Okay, let's say for instance I want to draw a defined shape using the freehand tool. So I click on my freehand tool, or I click on P on my keyboard to activate the tool. So let's say I want to draw a circle, so I can just click and drag, but you can see that the circle is not perfect. And if I click on my nodes, so you can see the different kind of nodes just for a circle. So the freehand tool usually used to be rough, but there are ways you can make them smooth. So one of the ways I can smooth out all these nodes that I just created is I can either go to parts and I head over to simplify. It will simplify my nodes. You can see that the nodes are now much more fewer than it was previously. You can see, previously we have a whole lot of nodes here, but the moment I head over to part and click on simplify, you can see the nodes are very few, and I can do that over and over again. So I can go to part, click on simplify, or I use the shortcut on my keyboard Ctrl+L. So I can keep on hitting Ctrl+L on my keyboard till I am okay with the smoothness of the shape. So I can keep on hitting it till I get a perfect circle or whatever the shape I intended to draw using the freehand tool. So that is one of the way you can smoothen the parts you created with your freehand tool. Another way is that once you click on the freehand tool, we head over to this smoothing. You can see now the smoothing is on 0. So if I draw, my lines will be very rough, especially when I'm drawing very slowly. You can see all this, my lines are rough. So you can come to this smoothing and increase the smoothness. You can see that the smoothness is increasing and the line is becoming more and more smooth. You make sure that this your LPE based interactive simplify is always on before you draw a line. So if I put this off now and I draw another line and I want to smoothen this line, if I come and increase the smoothness, you can see I am increasing it and there's no changes on my shape. I keep on increasing the smoothness even up to 100 and there's no changes on this shape. It's because when I was drawing, this LPE based interactive simplify is not on. But once I put this on, let me reduce the smoothness back so you see the difference. So I reduce the smoothness back to 66.5. So once I draw another shape here, for instance, you can see that the shape is not that smooth, but you can see that when I increase the smoothness, I can see the live changes on the smoothness because this LPE based interactive simplify is on. So yeah, you can increase the smoothness even up to 100, but you notice that once the smoothness is so high, you can get a whole lot of different shape than the one you do. So I usually advise to leave the smoothness at the middle average, kind of either 60 or 50. So I'll just leave it at 60 to make it smooth. And there are different kind of modes to the freehand drawing tool, just like we saw in the Bezier tool that has different kind of mode. So if you click on the freehand drawing tool, that is P, you can see the first mode is create regular bezier paths, which is what I say. So it will just really connect different nodes you created by freely moving your hand, as instead of just clicking like you would on the bezier tool. So that is what we have just used to draw all this shape here. This one here is create spiral path. This create spiral path is just like the spiral tool here, which is kind of like a wiggly line around. So let me delete all this and let me demonstrate what it does. So I'll highlight everything here and delete. So when I click on my freehand drawing tool and I select the spiral path mode, so what this spiral path does is that it kind of curves every single line you just do, instead of this normal create regular bezier path that lets you just create shape based on the movement on your hand. So whatever you move your hand to draw, that's what it will create. But instead, this spiral path will kind of like curve every line that you have just freely created with your hand. Okay, let's say for instance I draw this line, just up and down line. You can see that once I release on my mouse, you can see that it will kind of curve all the shape I've just created. You can see, while if I was on the normal mode, it will give me exactly what I have just do. You can see that it gave me exactly what I've just do, but on the spiral mode it will kind of curve it. So if I do the same shape but on the spiral mode, it will curve all the lines I have just created. You can see that. So that's it about the spiral mode. Let's look at the next mode. The next mode here is create B-spline path. Okay, what this B-spline path does is that it kind of make the line between two nodes to be curved. This is kind of similar like the one we talked about in the bezier tool. So also you can also check out that video so you understand it more better. So to demonstrate this, I'll reduce my smoothness to 0 so that you can really see the effect, because it is not that different from the normal mode. So if I click on the normal mode first and I draw a line and the smoothness is 0, so once I try to make a curve with the line, so you can see that the line won't be smooth normally because my hands are not stable. But if I use the B-spline mode, because in this mode it always tries to like curve out the line in between two nodes, each of every two nodes, to try to make them curve. So if I do the same curve with it on this mode, you see that it will be much more smoother than the one I do on the normal mode. So if I click on the B-spline mode and I kind of draw the same curve, you can see that my curve here is much more smoother compared to the one I did on the normal mode. So that is just the difference. They just make it to be more smooth, which is somehow not necessary, because even with the normal mode I can still come back here and smooth it out by just increasing the smoothness here. So that is it about the modes on the bezier tool. And the one here we have is use pen pressure. This mode is for if you have a graphics tab like this one. So if you have this kind of graphics tab and you have them connected to your system and you are using the pen, so if you want to use the freehand tool to draw and you want it to capture the pen pressure sensitivity, so you just turn on this mode here and you do all of your settings and you can just draw using your pen. So but since in this lesson we are talking about using the mouse, so yeah, that is it about the mode. And also one of my favorite setting here is shapes. So in these shapes you can use different kind of shape to do your freehand tool. And one of the shape you can use here, you can see triangle, triangle in, triangle out, ellipse, and you can also use shape from your clipboard. So this triangle in, what it does, that any line you kind of draw to kind of make it to be in the shape of a triangle. So if I just click and drag, you can see it is trying to like emulate the shape of a triangle, which is making the tip to be thin and also the edges to be far wide, just as you would a triangle, but it is blending it into the parts you like do with your hand movement. So that is it about the triangle triangle in. Then the next one is triangle out, which is the same thing, but it's just that it swapped the tip. So you can see that in this one we just drew here, the tip of the triangle is at the ending. So this triangle out to make the tip to be at the beginning of my drawing, just like this. So that's the difference. And we also have ellipse. Ellipse, ellipse is just like a squished circle. So you can just click and drag, and yeah, you have your ellipse shape just like that. So any part you kind of draw with your hand will kind of wants to form a ellipse kind of shape anytime you draw it. So let's delete all of this. So let's check the next shape here. I think that's all, and my favorite is from clipboard. This one can help you create your own brush. So for instance, if I want to create my brush using, let's say for instance, star, so I can just draw a star, and like I can adjust the star, I can adjust the corners of the star, I can play with the ratio, I can just do different kind of setting I would want to do on a star. I can adjust the roundness and make it something like this. So I can just create any kind of shape at all I want to, adjust the size of the shape anyhow I want to. So when I'm done with the shape I've created, I can just click Ctrl C on my keyboard to have the shape copied. So once the shape is copied, I click on my freehand drawing tool. So I go over to the shapes and I click on from clipboard. So this shape that I just copied is in my clipboard. So once I select from clipboard on the shape menu here, it will draw whatever part I kind of draw to resemble this shape, just like the way it did for the triangle and ellipse. So let's see. So when I click and drag to make a part, you can see that all the parts wants to kind of like resemble this shape which I just created. That's it about the ellipse. And you can also create your own brush using the ellipse, but you can make your own ellipse to be, you can reduce the width to make it to be very, very thin, just like a calligraphy brush. And yeah, you can just give it a fill and remove the outline. So once you do that, just copy it and we'll head over to your shape tool. Make sure it's on from clipboard. So anything I draw will kind of want to resemble this shape. So let's make a line. So you can see the line is kind of want to resemble this shape, and just like that you have created a calligraphy brush. So that's it about the freehand drawing tool. I can also play with the scale. You can use the scale to adjust the width. You can use it to reduce the width, increase it. You can just play around with the width anyhow you want to. So yeah, that's it about the freehand drawing tool. I hope this video covered most things you would want to learn on the freehand drawing tool. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, kindly leave a like, leave a comment if you have any question, and I will interact with this. In the next video, I'll be trying to look at how we can use all what we have been learning from the Bezier to the notes tool to the parts and this freehand tool into creating a vector illustration. That will be in my next video. So subscribe and turn on notification if you haven't, and I will see you guys in the next one.